Hi, I'm Dr. Lou, and welcome to Dr. Lou's Low Carb Diets. Now, let me be clear right from the start. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm actually a science teacher, with biology as my main subject, along with chemistry, physics, and combined science. Naturally, for any major changes to your diet or health plan, make sure to consult your doctor. Okay, a bit about my background. I hold a Bachelor of Science with a specialization in food microbiology and a master's level PGCE. I've personally been doing low carb dieting for about 25 years, on and off, starting originally with the Atkins and refining it over time into something much healthier and much more balanced. To be completely honest, if I hadn't used this diet style, I would be morbidly obese today. This approach saved my health. Over the years, I've used low carb eating to lose significant amounts of weight. I've used low carb eating to lose significant amounts of weight, at times 25 kilograms in just a few months. Usually, I would lose around 10 to 25 kilograms, take a break, then cycle back onto the plan again. So, the whole idea there is, some might call it yo-yo dieting, but the truth is, it worked. It helped me manage my weight, regain control, and feel healthier overall. Right now, I'm doing the diet again, and this time I will set a long-term goal to create a balanced low-carb plan, one that keeps carbs low enough for ketogenic fat burning, but still remains healthy, sustainable, and realistic for long-term well-being. So, with that said, let's look at the major areas this channel will cover. Okay, number one, what is a low-carb diet? So, the low-carb diet is exactly what it sounds like, eating fewer carbohydrates. Things like bread, pasta, rice, sugar, potatoes, and replace them with proteins, healthy fats, and vegetables. There are a few versions you've probably heard of: Atkins, low carb, high protein diets, the egg diet, the keto diet. Now, there are obviously, the list isn't exhaustive. So the whole idea is that we understand that all of them work on the same idea. Lower carbs goes to lower insulin, goes to easier fat burning. So that's as simple as it gets. Number two, the science behind it. When you eat carbs, your body turns them into sugar, specifically glucose that your body loves. Your blood sugar rises and your body releases insulin, the hormone that stores fat. High insulin equals fat stays locked away. When you lower carbs, insulin drops and your body switches fuel sources. That's when it starts producing ketones, which come from stored fat. Yes, obviously you're going to have to deal with your glycogen first before you go into your ketones, but we'll go into that in another video. Ketones are a clean, steady energy source, and they make people have a good feeling. You end up having a clear mind, focused, less hungry, and more energetic. It isn't magic, it's just your metabolism and how it deals with this situation. So, very simple, straightforward. Number three, benefits. Low-carb diets come with a lot of benefits. Quick weight loss, especially at the start. Less bloating, reduced hunger, craving control, better, steadier energy, improved blood sugar, mental clarity. For many people, this is the first diet that actually feels sustainable. Okay, number four, negatives and main issues. Of course, no diet is perfect. The main issues people run into are the low-carb flu during the first week. So we'll go into that in another time. Feeling tired before the body adapts, missing bread or sweets, hidden carbs in sauces or snacks, social challenges, restaurants, family meals. All these things are going to have you question, what do I eat? Can I eat there? Should I go there? Yeah, we'll find ways how to deal with it. Most of these fade within time and planning. Okay, number 5, weight loss potential. Low carb helps weight loss in multiple ways. Low insulin makes fat easier to burn. High protein keeps you full longer. Ketones provide long-lasting energy. Fewer cravings means fewer calories. 5, natural appetite control. You stop snacking so much. It's weight loss that doesn't feel like torture. You will see this and feel amazed once you get into the diet. But you must get into the diet before and understand your body needs to adapt. Once you've done that, you will always be fine when you go back to the diet. Okay, number 6, why resistance has dropped. So, a decade or two ago, low carb was criticized heavily. But that resistance has decreased for a few reasons. First of all, we have better science. People have actually looked into it and understood why it works and why it's effective. Real-world results. We've been able to watch and manage people on the diet, being able to take the statistics and find out that, yes, the results are clear. It is of massive benefit to you, your body, and your health. 3, doctors have started using low-carb diets for metabolic health. It works wonders with diabetes. Next, millions of successful transformations. People have seen it. Not only have you had all these people being recorded and statistics made, but millions of individuals have done the diet and shocked people with how much weight they've dropped. And that's in record times. Okay, the last one, a clearer understanding of carbs and insulin. Okay, once the information goes out more, once people start to adapt this information, they realize, wait a sec, this is the diet for me. There's nothing at all to be feared of. We understand that we're not afraid anymore, and we've seen it work. Fantastic. It's going to work for you. Now, moving on. Number 7, carb numbers and daily counting. Here's a simple way to think about carb levels. Now, 100 to 150 grams a day. That's more like a low-carb diet, but a light low-carb diet. 50 grams to 100 grams a day. That's seen as a moderate low-carb diet. 20 to 50 grams a day. Strict low-carb diet to keto. Now, also, what I usually do and recommend is 0 to 20 grams a day. Now, this is definitely a total keto diet, okay? And so this is the one I would advocate, and I will definitely show many times how I use, the diet and how I eat the specific types of food that will keep you specifically on that diet. Now, where do most carbs come from? They come from bread, they come from pasta, rice, potatoes, sugary snacks, soda, juice, energy drinks. I mean, they're everywhere. But mostly because we put them there. Now, you don't need perfection, you just need awareness. So you can easily do the diet without stressing. You'll just go, I know there's carb in there, I can read it on the labels, I understand this is fruit, I know exactly that contains a decent amount of carbs. So, moving on. Number 8, nutrition, supplements, and snacks. So, on this channel, we'll also look at electrolytes. We'll look at magnesium, omega-3, vitamin D, and of course, low carb. So obviously, looking at the snacks, we have jerky, nuts, cheese, keto-friendly snack bars. We have crisps, or if Americans are watching, chips. We have yogurt, and we have egg-based snacks. Now, I'll be reviewing them, taste testing them, comparing prices, and showing what's actually worth buying. There's a lot of information as well to break down on those snacks. Why? Because you have to understand which sweetener to choose. Or this contains this sweetener and it may have this adverse effect on you. Okay, so mostly all these sweeteners from what we know are completely safe and harmless, but some do contain a laxative effect. So we need to go into detail and just mention these. Okay, moving on to number 9, meal prep and breakdown. So, meal prep is one of the biggest low carb secrets. Here's the basic formula: protein plus low carb vegetables plus healthy fat. You're done. All you've got to do is look at 3 of those, and then you'll be able to then say, I can make any meal. Perfect for the keto. Let's have a look. Chicken plus broccoli plus butter. Perfect. Works amazingly. And yes, butter is fantastic and used as a healthy fat on the diet. And we can discuss that later. Because, for example, butter, if you have a lot of white refined sugar, could possibly have negative effects if you have a lot of butter with that. Why? Because it's actually white refined sugars that destroy your arteries. And then what happens is they become inflamed, and that's when some things like cholesterol can be stuck in your arteries. Now, eggs plus spinach plus cheese, great. Ground beef plus courgette plus olive oil, fantastic. That's olive oil. Fish plus salad plus avocado. So we all know that these combinations can be simple, affordable, and easy to repeat each week. You can do it with any of those combinations and mix them up and change to different things. Okay? So, moving on. Number 10, pricing, taste testing, and monitoring. Okay? So, we'll dive into price comparisons, ingredients labels, very important one, taste testing new products, carb counts, tracking progress of the diet, monitoring weight, hunger, and energy. You don't need expensive keto food. Simple ingredients work just fine. Okay, number 11, ketones, fasting mode and longevity. Now, one thing people don't talk about enough is low carb naturally creating fasting windows. What does this mean? Well, it means for when you do this diet and you're in the keto diet, you are literally having the same effect as fast. How does this work? Hunger drops, energy stabilizes, and you can go longer between meals. That's when your body switches into fasting mode. Not starvation, but natural fat burning powered by ketones. And that comes, believe it or not, with all the benefits nearly of fasting. But most people don't understand longevity and understand the fact that a low carb diet will turn your body into something called maintenance mode, where you repair everything, thus you don't copy and keep making new things. Why is that better? Well, we'll talk about it at a later stage, but think VHS, copy from one VHS tape, if you remember the old VHS tapes, and how you would copy and each copy got worse. That's how you keep your body maintained. If you fix it, you don't need to make another one. Your life extends. Now, anyway, that's the main idea there. So we understand it supports maintenance, better metabolic health, energy stability, long-term weight control, and potentially longevity. So for many people, low carb becomes a long-term lifestyle, not a temporary fix. So, okay guys, that's the full introduction to low carb eating. Simple, straightforward, science-based, and realistic. If you want snack reviews, taste tests, low carb meal prep, supplement breakdowns, and weekly updates, make sure to subscribe and hit like. And drop a comment about what you want me to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.